Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's so awkward doing it with you.
Do it, I'll close
Okay.
my eyes.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this mini podcast series. We have Zach here, rubbing his eyes
One don't ever
so
my
much.
eyes.
So today we're going to be going... So today we're going to be talking about all of the van updates, what's going on with the van, and all that jazz.
We had this idea to go on a van trip. Keeler had it, I adopted it. And we were just going through the phases of looking through it and looking for some, and then I think we were graduating high school.
Yeah.
And Keeler...
No, after graduation.
A year after graduating high school, we started looking for a van. And we were very, in general, looking, not looking to buy, just looking. And we were looking just to look. Keeler found a van. The first van she found was, a transit van. Not even a transit van. Anyway, it was really bad. And it had, seats they had one seat that turned into a bed, and I was working, so I didn't end up going to visit the van with her, or look at the van.
It was a nice van overall, it just didn't have high ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that
I think the only reason you didn't buy that van that day was because I wasn't there.
Yeah, and because we ended up finding the other van between the time when we were supposed to go buy that one.
I didn't want that one.
Yeah.
I did not want that one.
I was hesitant because of the high rise, or it not having high rise, but I also really wanted to buy a van to start working on it.
She really wanted to buy a van.
That was the first mistake.
Yeah. So then she found another one. She found one that was about $4,000, so $2,000 each, And it was the van we currently have, the black one. And we went to go visit it, Keeler and I, and her dad. And we were looking at it. Keeler's dad said, I asked him, do you think it's fine? Do you think everything's working fine? He's he looked around at it. And the other guy didn't tell us anything about it either. He said it was fine. He just mentioned, the new seats he put in.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But also, the guy was just using it for his construction company, and
Contracting.
he upgraded.
Contracting. Sorry.
He upgraded, and that's why he was getting rid of this one, and we're like, oh, he was just using it. It's gonna work great.
Yeah, we thought. We ended up buying that one for $4,000, and then additionally putting $4,000 into it.
Yeah.
So we currently have $8,000 into this van, and we took it recently. Why did you want this van? This black one we have now.
Okay.
Why were we so we're getting this van?
I really wanted something to work on, and I was extremely obsessed with van life at that time. I still am, but I wanted a van to convert right then and there, even though we aren't leaving until April this year and we got it last May. But I liked this van because it was still big and it had...
It's like a box truck.
Yeah, it's like a mini box truck.
A U-Haul, one of those small U-Hauls.
And I liked that it had the sliding door so we could separate from the cats. How it had the built-in shelves, and on the outside it has built-in shelves, which would be so helpful.
Yeah, it was a 2v1 situation. I mean, I was still for it because I thought there was nothing wrong with it, but I still felt a little bit rushed into it.
Yeah.
I wanted to take more time to look for vans, and I felt like we'd find the one and we'd know it, and I don't think we knew it when we found that van.
Yeah, I was just so hyped up that I was excited about anything.
Yeah, so don't let your emotions persuade you in buying anything expensive. Take some time to think about it.
And we knew it would have some work that needed to be done, but we didn't think anything big would happen. So
we obviously knew with the mileage we were gonna have to take out that engine and put in a new one.
Yeah, and
we were willing to accept that. That was $4,000, $3,000 cost. We were willing to accept.
Yeah. And my grandparents had an engine that we could use. And then when we first got it, it was just rough. The inside cosmetic stuff was just, dirty and in rough condition. But we fixed most of that up, in the back, in the first couple months that we had it. And
then we stopped working on it for,
the whole winter.
The whole winter. And even the summer.
The winter that just passed, our first winter with it, we brought it on a couple rides. And it kept breaking down, and we'd have to jump it every time. One time he brought it to work in the morning, and when he went to leave, it wouldn't turn on, so I had to go pick him up and jump it. Then we brought it to, like, get the winter tires on, right?
Yeah.
And so we brought it there, and it worked. And then when we were leaving, did it break down?
No, when we got there, it wasn't working.
Yeah. And then we brought...
They basically cleaned the connection.
Yeah, they tried
for the
fixing the battery.
Like a wire brush.
And then it ended up breaking down like 2 more times. So we just didn't use it for the rest of the winter because we're like, okay, we have to get a new battery and it's cold out. It's not working. So we didn't use it until like April, something like that. And then we, yeah, and then we brought it to a beach and just hung out in it, and it worked great. It made weird noises, and the engine light was on.
And it didn't like going over 55.
Yeah. So we
check the engine light.
Oh yeah.
I have one of those, like, I think it's called a bolt or something, that you plug into, like, where you plug to check it, like, what's wrong with your engine, what code it's spitting out, and it was, like, I don't know, 15 problems?
Yeah.
It was something insane, and it was, like, 3 or 4 of the problems was, like, engine knocking. I have no idea what that is. Some of the problems was, oh, yeah, one of the seals is leaking, the evap, which was basically... I don't know, but for my car, it's basically like gas leaking, like the fumes can leak out kind of stuff. It was a mess. The filter, the heater, the AC were broken. That doesn't work at all.
Also, before, in the summer that we first got the van, so last summer, we brought it to get fixed, like underneath, and get like resealed in the shelves. We brought it to get the heater and AC fixed. The guy had it for 2 months, and like
nothing was fixed.
No, it was like 2 days before we we're finally like, okay, we're picking it up tomorrow.
And he still charged us $1,000.
And all he did was put like the super thick paint on the shelves.
Yeah, basically inside of the paint he put like epoxy paint. I'm like, bro, I could have done that for like, I don't know, I could have bought some and did it for like $400 or like $200.
Yeah, and it would have taken like a weekend.
Yeah. Instead
of 2 months and $1,000.
It was ridiculous. He did nothing with it.
Yeah, we didn't get much done last summer with it because of that. And then it broke down all winter. This summer it started making weird noises. So we finally brought it in to get like a full-on inspection.
I was over it.
Every single thing that was wrong with it.
We need to go step by step.
Okay.
So we were talking about the van, and we're like, I wasn't comfortable in it, considering like all the problems, especially after seeing all the codes on the engine. So we started looking into like maybe buying a camper, maybe buying a truck with the camper and taking an ultralight camper somewhere and doing that. So I was looking at Facebook Marketplace, and then...
And my hopes were still with this van. Like, I have an attachment to it.
Yeah, stupid attachment to it. So I found like 5 ones that were cool that we could have jumped on.
And we tried for a couple of them, but they sold within like 3 hours of us asking if it was available.
Yeah, but like we could have jumped on a lot, but we didn't because Kayla was still like not decided in her mind. And then she's like, well, maybe we'll do a teardrop. So I started looking for teardrops. I found a couple of those, and I messaged people, and Kayla still wasn't decided, so I didn't end up responding to them when they asked, like, are you still interested? And then I'm like, you know what, I'm over it. Let's just get this fully inspected to see how much money it costs. And if it's more than, I think we said like $4,000, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
We're not doing it at all. So we took it to local place here.
We told them inspect everything and give us a list of everything wrong with it. Just so we would know like everything we would have to fix.
Yeah, basically I told them that we're taking it on a countrywide trip. And I would just like to know how much it would be cost to fix up, like to do that. We dropped it off, and an hour later they called us and said, so you plan to take this across the country? I'm like, yeah, we do. He's like, I don't think you should do that. And he listed off all the problems. It was like all the brakes were shot. They all probably needed new carburetors or calibrator. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Calibers, maybe.
Calipers?
They said I think the shocks were rusted, which, you know, explained how bumpy it was. I think 4 places of the frame was rotted. They found the tire seams as well.
There was like 1 or 2 things leaking somewhere.
The axle was fricked.
Oh yeah,
It
the
was-
heater and AC obviously.
Yeah. He's like, if you want me to do this...
Oh, and the seats were installed wrong.
Yeah, they were hanging on for like 2 bolts. We're holding our seats.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But anyway, he basically asked, like, would you want me to quote this? And I'm like, is it going to be above 4,000? He's like, it's going to be a little bit more than 4,000. So I'm like, okay, we have our answer.
And he said even if we fix everything, it still wouldn't be safe.
He said it would be safe. He said it just, he personally wouldn't take it on a countrywide trip.
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, then we're
So
not
no
going to
from
take it on
us.
a
Yeah.
countrywide trip.
So, we're back to the beginning. Back to finding a new van.
Harder
trying to
than
sell
the beginning.
this one.
Harder than the beginning because we're going to lose like 6,000 on that.
Yeah.
More than that.
We're gonna just like take out a loan and do financing most likely. So right now we have a few different options for where we can go. So number 1, our first option is that we are gonna go check out places at an RV store, and if we find a perfect one, an RV,
A perfect RV.
we might finance it. Or we can look at teardrops to tow with my car, but they have to be light, which is the inconvenient part.
Very light. 1,000
Or-
pound light.
We can look on Facebook Marketplace for
I say we
campers
avoid
and
that.
things. Or we could somehow get a truck and a little camper. Our last option is to go on one of the used van websites where people sell
It's like
theirs.
campervan.com or something.
Yeah, but they're very expensive.
Very.
So that's not ideal. We're planning on leaving it
Latest
around like
April.
yeah, latest April. That means we need to buy a van by like February, March-ish. If we happen to not have a van or something, then we're probably gonna get like a little tiny itty bitty teardrop and tow it with my car until we find
Something.
our perfect van. And we want to travel for 2 years in it, so
we think
we're
that
not
our
gonna think with our hearts anymore, especially me. And we're gonna get it fully inspected before we do any sort of down payment. Hopefully we will not repeat the same mistake again. So yeah, that was our quick little update about the
quick
van
little update.
and how we are completely restarting from the beginning.
Actually, starting lower.
Yeah,
than the
we are.
beginning. Starting $8,000 less.
We have to figure out how to get rid of that for hopefully like a little bit of money. My hopes aren't high, unfortunately.
Yeah, because we also know there's problems, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna be that person who
No,
like
I
we're
wanna,
not gonna
like-
be like the person who sold it to us.
Yeah.
Like act like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
I want to like fully disclaim it so no one ends up in the same situation.
We'd
as
be like,
us.
you should not drive this home. You should get this towed.
That's a bit much. We kept driving it.
We're not gonna tell them to drive it.
Okay.
We're gonna recommend they get it towed because if they, crash, like they told us.
I also think it would be cool to advertise it as like a camper. So like
Considering
you do
we have
tow
a
it.
frame.
Yeah, but you do tow it. And
Okay,
you
I
just
don't-
set it up as like a camper van,
I don't think.
but
we do
as
that.
your camper.
Mm-mm.
It could work.
No.
Or someone has it set up in their backyard and uses it as a camper.
That's so much more weight for no reason.
So
No.
it could be a way to advertise, Zachary. But yeah, hopefully we sort things out. If we do, we'll let you know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not worried as much as she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, give it a like. If you're on
Podcast or YouTube, if you're watching or listening.
If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or all of the other things, leave us a 5-star review.
5
And
stars.
we hope you're all having a great time.
We are.
Follow our Van Life 365 Instagram. See you next time. Peace.
Peace.